Dane Mason and the Unholy Trio. Part 2. Dane and Night. The road ahead was dry and desolate. Dane and Carther had been walking down it for what felt like an eternity. The idea of stealing a passing vehicle had crossed both their minds not long ago, but seeing as Dane couldn't drive an American car and Carther didn't even know what exactly a car even was, the idea fell flat. "We can't keep going like this," Carther said. Dane looked over at him and sighed. I know," he replied in a ragged tone. They were both so very tired. They had left the Patriot Bar hours before beginning their trek into the great wild world of Grand Theft Auto 5. Unfortunately, they were in Sandy Shores, a dry, almost empty portion of the game's map. They continued to walk. They walked and walked, and walked some more. Finally, they spotted something far in the distance. A gas station. "A gas station!" Dane cried with relief. "Gas?" Carther asked with interest. It's like a tavern. We can get food and drinks there if you've got any more money," Dane explained as they hastened towards the store. "This is so poggers," Dane stated as they entered the gas station. Carther followed almost timidly. The tall cowboy was not used to such a modern establishment. At least the Patriot Bar almost looked like an old Western saloon. But this was new, too new. "I don't like this place, not one bit," Carther said slowly as Dane began selecting items from the shelves. "We don't need to stay here, Carther. We're just grabbing some epic drinks and some chips for the road," Dane reassured Carther. Carther nodded, not entirely convinced. Dane took the snacks and refreshments to the counter, where the attendant eyed him and Carther up suspiciously. "What is with your friend's hat?" the gas station employee asked. "Is that a dead raccoon?" He points at Carther. Carther stood up straight, and suddenly the air in the store grew cold. Dane realized that the hardened outlaw was deeply offended by the employee's comment. Oh, that's just... Dane was going to make up an excuse for Carther's strange attire when the outlaw suddenly drew his large revolver. "The hell you say, boy?" Carther asks the now trembling employee while pointing his gun at the man's face. "You want to mess with me? I'll eat your goddamn heart, you pissy fuck." No, please, sir, I'm sorry," the employee whimpered with his hands in the air. "Carther, relax, buddy. He didn't mean it." Dane attempted to calm the outlaw down, but Carther didn't seem to realize he was even there. This wasn't very poggers anymore. "You stupid, ugly, fat, fucking dumb, shitty, piss-drinking, ugly bitch!" Carther growled loudly at the now crying gas station clerk. Carther clicked the hammer back on his revolver and continued to aim it at the man. Dane was sure Carther was going to shoot the poor man at any moment. He wanted to stop him, but he couldn't move. He was afraid Carther might turn his rage towards him if Dane tried anything. "I'll send you to hell for talking about my totally awesome hat like that!" Carther spat with violently seething hatred. The door to the gas station suddenly slid open. Carther swung around swiftly and aimed his revolver at the stranger. Dane stayed quiet as he and Carther both eyed the newly arrived man. "Carther," the stranger drawled with a wicked grin. "Already harassing the locals?" "Micah," Carther replied. Dane's jaw dropped as he recognized the man. Micah Bell, another outlaw pulled from the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. This was getting wackier and wackier. "This is quite the interesting predicament, cowpoke." Micah slowly stepped forward with one gnarled hand resting on his own holstered revolver. "We doing this here?" Carther spat. "We are in another goddamn realm, Micah, and we still gonna fight like children?" Micah broke into a sudden burst of lupine laughter, his eyes beginning to water from his uncontrollable chortling. "That is right, Black Lung. Here, in another realm," Micah replied as his laughter died down. "Because, unlike you, I've already made some useful friends here, friends who want that boy there beside you," Micah explained, pointing at Dane. "Him?" Carther replied. He still hadn't lowered his gun. "Nah, Dane is my friend and you can't have him." Micah sniffed and feigned disinterest. "Whatever you say, Carther." Micah gripped his holstered gun tightly. That's when Dane heard a sound and spun around to see the previously terrified store clerk now aiming a large shotgun at Carther's back. "No!" Dane shouted as he leaped towards Carther and tackled him out the way. The shotgun went off with a deafening blast as Dane and the outlaw hit the ground, and Carther's revolver went off with a loud bang. Dane looked up and saw Micah bleeding on the ground. He looked dead. Micah's entire right arm was a torn, twisted mess of bone and meat. The clerk was shaking again, the smoking shotgun in his trembling hands. He looked at Dane with wide, terrified eyes. "Goodbye, piss-fucker," Dane heard Carther grunt. Another gunshot went off, and Dane watched the gas station employee's left eye explode into an expanding web of bright blood before he fell backwards. Dead. Dane and Carther sat breathing heavily on the gas station floor. Micah wasn't moving. Neither was the clerk. Dane was afraid. End of part 2.